Hi, I'm Jenny McFadden. I'm back again with the rules of effective eating, number 2. Number 2 is all foods are equal in emotional value. So in the Diet No More program, I want you to start thinking about the fact that we do put labels on food. We say some foods are good, some foods are bad, and with that comes a sense that if we eat a bad food, we're bad, or if we eat a good food, we're good. And we need to be able to get rid of this emotional value so that lettuce has the same emotional value as chocolate. And the way that you choose whether or not you eat it is according to your body. So you begin to focus in on your body to give you the answers rather than going to the information that you know about how many calories is in something, which one is good, which one is bad. Now I know you know all of that. I know most of the people who are watching this know everything there is to know about the content of food. You know the fat, you know the calories, you know the kilojoules, you know the carbohydrates, you know the whatever it is, the points, all kinds of things. That information isn't helping you anymore. If you think about when you sit down to eat, how much thought, how much time you spend thinking about the content of food. And really, although it can work for a while, after a while it becomes something that creates more of a problem. If I eat this, I'm good. If I eat that, I'm bad. If I have this, it's good in the fat. This one's high fat, this one's low fat. This one's high sugar, this one's high carb, that one's whatever it is. And whilst the information about that is useful, it's not the way you can live your life forever. And it's not what natural eaters do. People who manage their weight normally and naturally, who stay at an even weight, don't do that. Although they have information about food, they keep it at it's almost like at a lower level. It's information. It's part of everything. It's information as well as the information they get from their body, as well as the information they, for example, when they're thinking about, do I want to feel full after I eat this? There's a lot of things they're thinking about, not just the content of the food. So we need to begin to move away from some foods are good and some foods are bad. And the way to do that is you need to, first of all, be conscious that you're doing it. Put it aside, let it go, and start when you're looking at foods to decide, well, do I really feel like that? If I can have it any time I like, is it what I really want? Imagine that food sitting in your stomach. Imagine a block of chocolate sitting in your stomach. Imagine what it feels like to eat it. What does your stomach tell you? Think about that for a moment. Or if cheese is your thing, imagine a large chunk of cheese. How much would you eat on a binge? Sitting in your stomach. How does that feel? Your body will give you answers. I remember McDonald's used to be my thing. I would drive along and my car would automatically drive into McDonald's. I knew McDonald's was really bad, terrible food, and yet I couldn't help myself. The more I told myself it was bad, the more I wanted it. When I began to use different thoughts to support, I would be driving. I mean, I knew where McDonald's were. You know, if someone asked me directions to somewhere, I would tell them the nearest McDonald's, because that's what I knew. So, I mean, obviously that's changed now. However, what I did was I practiced different thoughts. I would be driving the car and I'd say to myself, I can have McDonald's anytime I like. And I would imagine myself having McDonald's for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I really meant it. I really could have it. I would imagine it in my body. People used to tell me McDonald's feels like a brick. Now, I don't want to single out McDonald's, but it just was my food. People used to tell me it sits like a brick in my stomach, and I'd say, I never noticed that. When I started Nectar, I began to notice it because my attention, my energy was focused on my stomach instead of on my mouth or in my head. And as I began to focus actually on my stomach, I started to get signals. I started to get information. It was trying to tell me something all along. Like intuition, it's body signals, it's body information. It's natural. And it told me, I would imagine the food sitting in there and I would feel actually not quite well. I was a bit surprised. So I'd say to myself, I can have that any time, and I would truly imagine it. And because I knew I was free to have it, I could also choose not to if I didn't want to. And I knew that I could have it every meal. But when I thought about it, I realised I didn't want to. So then I would ask myself, well, what do I really feel like? What would feel good in my stomach? So begin to practice this yourself. Become aware. Foods are not good or bad. A cake is just made of different ingredients. Now, I know some foods are more healthy than others. It doesn't make it good or bad. In moderation, all foods are absolutely fine. So you need to begin this process, and it all starts in your head. So remember, we need to make foods emotionally equal. I know they're not equal in calories or fats or those things, but emotionally equal. One food emotionally is the same as another. Not one, not good, not bad, just food. See you next time for number 3.